Welcome, everybody, and welcome back to the Board and Scale podcast. Today, we're going to talk to you about some stuff. We have a couple topics, a small topic, and then another topic to go over. But, of course, welcome to you. We have today with us, as always, Dwayne and Kivandrius and me, Sibo. So let's get into it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Board and Scale podcast, Battle of the Games.
Board and Scale's first ever snake video.
Another vendor spotlight.
The penguin's the only one with any character.
What you're likely to hatch when you mix certain genetics.
You know I don't play right.
We're going to start with our highlights. Going back 2 weeks because we have been out of studio for a little bit. And youngest can go ahead and go. Just a baby.
Just a baby.
I'm just a baby.
Okay. My play is going to be
If you say SETI, I'm going to punch you.
Can you go first?
Who, me?
One of y'all.
Yeah, I can go. I'll go. Do you want to go?
Go ahead.
All right.
It doesn't have to be a specific game. Just anything involving your gaming life in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, well, mine is a part of a broader thing because it was over what turned into a 5-day weekend because it snowed here in San Antonio.
Here.
And if there's like any kind of snow here, everything shuts down.
Yeah.
I don't think I had any plans on being here except for like Friday night for our regular podcast. This was 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And like we played and whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'll see you whenever I see you. And I think I was here like 4 of the next 5 days.
Oh, yeah. It was like, four days in a row or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, yeah. And then the day that it snowed and like canceled work and everything else, like by like 9:30 in the morning, everything was melted and fine.
Yeah.
But so I think it was during that time we played Windmill Valley, which will be my specific game highlight, which is Board and Dice, published in 2024. You are a Dutch tulip farmer, and it's a rondel style game. It's got this really interesting mechanism where you have 2 cogs on a wheel. One has 6 spots and one has 5. So as you're rotating them for your turns, they've got actions on them. And then whatever ends up in a certain space, you can take one or the other action. Unless there's a plus sign, then you get to take both. And what's cool is you get to upgrade those spaces. So they all have like a natural, like whatever their basic ability is. And then throughout the game, you can upgrade those. But again, because there's 6 on one side and 5 on the other, it's not that they're always going to be the same ones that are touching.
Yeah, they always like offset.
Mm-hmm.
Like it changes. It's the next one it'll be attached to or something.
Yep. And then you're controlling the water. Like what determines how far your rondelle spins is how much water goes through the dam. And like there's water levels you have to control and getting the actions. And then the main board, you're putting windmills out, and windmills will give you access to different bonus actions and stuff. And like a lot of, it has some engine building mechanics to it, of course. And like a lot of engine building mechanics, you kind of get this feeling that you're like in the first round of play, you're like, man, I'm not going to be able to do much of this game. Because the game timer is based on how many times your main wheel spins. So some players can run that up and, take a bunch of turns. Not take turns, excuse me, but
Move my wheel faster.
move their wheel faster, and then other players, go as slow as they can. And in this case, it didn't work out for me because you won. But it was really fun. It was really enjoyable. Look forward to get it to the table some more. And it is one of the games that Board and Dice just did a Kickstarter for a bunch of upgraded content. And one of the things that's going to come with it is instead of having cardboard chits for the tulips, they're going to be little 3D printed tulips.
Yeah, little resin things.
Yeah,
I will say, I also did really like Windmill Valley. I'd love to play it again. I am the person who, if the game can end fast, my strategies are usually very short-term based. And so I tend to be the person that triggers the end in games like that. One, and it's because I'm like not rushing necessarily, but I have like my main thing in my head, and I am just zooming to the next possible thing I can do to progress that. And so that was my strategy in those points where you only have your big wheel 6 spaces.
6 spaces on the big wheel because it's the main 6 actions
Yeah,
that you can take.
And you can move it up to 3 spaces in a single turn.
4 if you use a cog.
At
The
4 if you
tool,
use a
the
cog.
tool.
And I did the 3-turn move a couple times, whereas Kevin and Kenzie, who are very long-term strategy brained, were felt like they were trying to do something with every single tick of the wheel action. And I was like, nope, I just want yellow flowers and I want to do this one mission I have. I want to make sure I complete that. That's it. So I'm just going to spin my wheel to do the next thing that will let me progress those. And it did end up working in my favor that time. So, but I do like the game. I want to play again.
I think the challenge for me especially was like every time I looked at the spinning the wheel and whatnot, because part of it was in order to increase the speed, you had to pay a guilder, the coin, and you get points for it too. But whenever I was looking at kind of like the calculus of like, well, if I just do the regular 1 turn, it'll be this action or this action, and I'm like, yeah, I can maximize the value out of that one. Is it worth spending one of those coins to move it one more? Will I get more out of this action than I would have gotten out of this action? And it's like, well, I never really justified the cost or whatever. It's always easy to be like, nope, this will be really helpful for me right now. And this will also be helpful. This will be helpful the next turn. Like, it was perfectly fine to take those. It was never like, hey, I need to get to this thing quicker, right? Because there's a resource that's limited or something like that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I just never felt that way. So I was never compelled to push it. And as a consequence, the way it works is like each player enters the rounds at different times and you can get bonuses. I didn't even enter the final round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I handed the game.
So,
and me pushing myself, I was securing the first person bonuses, which are whatever you want of the options, which just kept pushing me towards my thing. And I think I took one of them, like when I went to the 3rd space. They didn't benefit me, but I just looked at what they had and I was like,
no, the
well, I
last
think
one was
Kenzie
5
has.
points.
The 3rd one where you have like, you take a tulip of your choice or one of these colors.
Mm-hmm.
I took the one of your choice that happened to be one of those colors just to take the choice away from, them. But it's a good game. He didn't get to play it, so that's why he's not talking.
Do you think you'd like it?
And he's a big stinky.
I've only ever seen the box.
Based on what we just said.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I'd play it. I don't think I can like.
Wow, that's a real high bar.
I almost feel like I know, right? You play everything. I almost feel like he would have more of a me strategy, and he'd pick a couple things to focus on and like push towards those things.
Probably if there's a thing in the game that's like, hey, you're gonna get points if you just go hard on this one thing, I tend to do it.
So 1, that's what I did because I was focusing hard on my one thing, and 2, I did like halfway through notice that they were taking their time. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously they need time to make whatever grand strategy happen. So what I'm doing, I'm going to keep doing.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I think the other thing too is like, because part of what you're doing is you're getting the tulips and you're planting them into rows, and you want a row to be all the same color, and you want the columns to be different colors. And you get bonuses and potential negatives for having the columns in matching colors, but there's no penalty for having rows. You just don't get as many points. But honestly, the number of points that you got for completing a row in all of the same color wasn't that much.
No, it was only like 7 at the
3
most.
or 4. Yeah, it was like 3 points for having it complete on mismatching, and then like 7 points for having them all matching.
Right, and there was like I don't feel like even if I took as long or not took as long, but if I also had a long-term strategy and was trying to do like every action in the wheel, maybe you can fill 2 of them. But even then, I was like,
I think I did fill 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. By the end.
And it still wasn't that big. Like, because it was one of the things too, is like at the end, once you see like where you're getting other points from, you're like, oh, that wasn't that much. Like, it just wasn't worth the effort.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
was that enough time? Did we kill enough time for you?
We got it.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Drag that one out.
The whole this week for me has been playing games that have been on my shelf of shame. To see like
Shelf of opportunity.
You gonna
either I haven't played them in since I've had them, or I haven't played them in years. I like some were meh. I'm not going to talk about either of them. I just wanted to say that. Mine isn't a game per se. It is Finspan.
Oh,
For some reason, man, I am so excited for. I can't remember because
you ordered it.
Yeah,
Nice.
I can't remember because it's been a while since Wormspan, but like I don't remember being as excited for Wormspan as I am for Finspan. I don't like. I'm not like a fish person. Like
I just think there's something like
You did
the
work
fish.
at SeaWorld.
I did, but like
The fish are more charming than dragons.
yeah, I guess so. It's more like relatable.
What?
I
At
think
what
the
point-
fish are way more charming than dragons. There's fantasy stuff is so overdone. Everything that has any kind of fantasy stuff
I
has
like.
a dragon
I get it
in it.
though. I get it. Cause like I've been playing Wingspan a lot on BGA. I just played Wormspan like 3 times back to back. And
While we were playing another game at the table too, he was just like, "Hold on, it's my turn over here." On my asynchronous turn.
and I just been on the span kick. Probably what's the word I'm looking for? Unconsciously, like just because I know Finspan is on the horizon.
You're just thinking about it. You've
Yeah.
got that excitement built for it.
I'm so excited.
So yeah, I'm excited for that one. It looks again different enough. It doesn't look like it's got that where people were like, "Oh, Wormspan is just Wingspan different." It
I mean,
looks different
even
enough.
Wormspan was different. It just
Yeah,
the board
yeah,
looked
yeah,
the
yeah.
same. The format of the
That's
board.
what I'm saying.
Oh,
like
it's
you
got
had all of
resources.
those. You had all of those people that
Yeah.
And
say
cards.
it's just Wingspan with
That
dragons.
activated
And
in
it's
a
like it's
certain
really
order.
not. But from what I have seen, the boards are this way now,
Yeah.
and you're diving.
You don't have to do stuff in order.
Don't have to do stuff in order. Cards are a resource.
Yeah.
You have
Eating
like your
bigger
own
fish.
discard pile and shit like that.
There's always a bigger fish.
Squishy eggs.
They're always a big old fish.
So, I got a question, but we'll let you finish first.
Good.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Blank span. Anything. And any topic, any theme. What would you like to see done for Wingspan?
Anything.
Anything.
It doesn't have
Literally
to make sense.
doesn't even have to make. Well, I mean, it's got to be. It doesn't have to fit in the name span, whatever.
Okay,
right?
that's
But
what I
like
mean.
something in that like genre, like get somebody who's brilliant to find a way to figure it out. Anything span.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I know like
Game span.
Just a game
It's
about board games.
It's an Inception game about.
that's Rolling Realms though, right?
There's also another. There was
I've never played
a
it.
Kickstarter about
Rolling Realms? Yes, you have.
Oh, I have actually. You're right. You're right.
There's also that that game that was the center of some of the Meeple controversy by the company that used to be called Cogito Ergo Meeple. I think therefore I am but Meeple, right? At any rate, so they made a board game about making board games.
I don't.
I have one called
Did you dream this up?
I have one called Shelfie Stacker where
Oh, is
you're
it
like
that?
putting board games
No.
on a shelf.
No, this was a Kickstarter game that whatever.
Back to the thought.
Yeah, you keep thinking about that.
He
'Cause I
tries to-
know-
tries to log into Kickstarter. It's like this account doesn't exist.
I know
He
like,
looks up and we're not
Annika
here anymore.
and Red, they were like, oh man, like bug span would be cool. So, like insects and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Scale span
Entomology
Snakes.
span.
or just reptiles in general.
Yeah. Well, herpetology is amphibians, reptiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think bugs are included in there. I don't know. Invertebrates. I don't know.
All right. Tabletop Inc. was the name of the game.
No. it's
Players take on the
entomology.
role of a board game publisher, collecting their perfect mix of artwork, components, and mechanisms to build the greatest board game in history. And if I remember correctly, the game was originally called Meeple Inc. or something like that.
Meeplink.
It had a different name, and this is what part of what started the whole Meeplegate thing that we discussed. Remember?
I do not remember
You don't
that
hold on.
title.
Oh, the title. I was like, you're telling me you don't remember Meeplegate?
I remember Meeplegate. I don't remember the title.
Okay.
Of,
I don't.
of that game.
That's fair. I didn't remember it either. I just remember that it was a thing. So Bugspan. That was your vote.
Bugspan.
What about you?
No, I was just
Oh.
saying. I haven't even thought of one yet. I was thinking,
Well,
like,
I mean, I feel like his should be a no-brainer.
yeah,
who me?
Yeah.
What?
Snake
Scale
span.
span.
Snake span, scale
Yeah.
span. It would be because I already want to design a game based on going to like a reptile show,
Mm.
and I feel like the board format of Wingspan can make it work, of like a very simplified version
Yeah.
of it.
you have your like halls.
Yeah, go get food. The eggs are literally the same thing. You're hatching
are just
eggs,
eggs.
but there can be like a timing mechanism where,
Yeah.
each turn they move down or something. I don't know. And then at the bottom, you can buy snakes at
Maybe
the
it
show.
could be like reptile span, so you can have like different types of reptiles, so you can have some very different things.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
not just
Scale
all
span
But I
still
think I would do
still
like herp.
fits.
I think I would do like herp span. So it'd be
Herp span?
like amphibians, reptiles,
Ooh,
everything in that world.
herpes span.
herp.
Oh my god, douche. You study herpes? Herpetology?
Oh, that reminds me. I just saw an advertisement for a Steam game that I'm not going to talk about on this,
Oh.
but I want to share that with you guys. Little-
Not very inspired, but I think my vote would be leaf span,
leaf
Do
span.
trees?
like trees, because for like
I mean, there's a lot of plants.
I've played a lot of plant games, and I like a lot of plant games.
You like genotype?
I do. I love genotype. It's
We
really
do pea
good.
plants. You love it? Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. We're not gonna say what he just showed.
I will read the catch line without telling you the thing. This is on Kickstarter right now. It's a Steam game. Embark on an erotic adventure in blank, where you'll recruit, train, evolve, and fight in a world of
Fight?
erotic excitement.
Take a guess at what that is, and then maybe Google it. You're gonna be way off, no matter what.
So yeah, like eggs, instead of eggs, it's seeds.
Okay.
You've got different like soil would be the different like rows or something.
Okay.
Maybe like desert and jungle or something. Cause yeah. Plant games are cool for some reason.
I think it's
Like
cool.
Says
It's
the guy
Planted-
who works at a garden.
yeah.
Planted, verdant,
Verdant.
Verdant.
I know there's more
Verdant.
out there.
Verdant.
Arborea.
He's thinking of Verdansk. It's okay.
Yeah, I know.
He knows. You should
right,
know
yeah.
too, Call of Duty gamer.
I think that's mine. Yeah.
Okay. So, herp, and plants. I like
Herp,
it.
herp span and plant span.
Yeah. I like it. I like it.
Okay, now we're on to me, and I have had plenty of time to think of a highlight. So I obviously, of course, took that ample opportunity to think of something to say in this moment and not just stall out for time.
He looks at his phone. There's nothing on his phone. Either.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go with what I was thinking. Basically, I had a great month of gaming in January, and I'm just gonna preemptively say this. I'm saving the elaboration for the January wrap up, so come back for that. But I played 38 games this month. That is a big month for me, who typically does not get even close to 30 plays in a month. And I will remind you, for those of you who may not remember, I don't track online plays, so that's all in-person plays. Not to brag, but I just think that it's cool that I got to do that many times this month. So I'll leave it there, and you guys will
Nice.
hear more details in the wrap-up video that's going to come later.
Nice.
So
38.
38 plays,
That's nice. It's more than me this month.
big month this month for me. Yeah.
Dwayne's like, that's like half what I played.
I know. man.
I don't know what I hit.
I'm sure it's 60.
Because you play every day, man.
Dude, yeah. The number of times I'm like, I see like, hey, we're playing them. Who wants to play tomorrow? And I'm like, I know this. He's about to say like, what time? Like 2:00 in the afternoon.
I do want to say this now, though.
Son of a
I
bitch.
have been tracking games since like, you know what? Let me just look.
How do I do this? Oh God.
See, if you just use the website, it's actually easier.
I know there's a month. There's a month in here. Oh, here we go. Month January. 56.
See, I was close. I was close. I said 60. Hey, it ain't midnight yet. You can get 4 more in. Hey, what do you got? What do you got? No mercy kites. Just something. Just rip it 4 times. In a row.
Oh, yeah.
Working. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. I have 1,400-ish logged plays, and I started recording probably 2018-ish, I think.
1,400.
Yeah, 1,400 something logged plays. He's got 700 something. How long have you been tracking?
It was like right after I met you. So, however.
A little over a year ago.
Yeah.
I've been tracking since 2018, I'm pretty sure. And in the 1 year, he is halfway caught up with me. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had
Or 1.5-ish.
58 last year, calendar year.
Yeah.
So a third in a year.
Yeah.
Get your meetup.
That's what I'm saying. 30 is a big month for me.
That's honestly though, it's really impressive no matter what. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, yeah, I often have to grapple with the fact that like I may not be in San Antonio forever, right? Like I may have to move, go somewhere else or whatever. I'm like, man, you're like, maybe I'll be able to find other gamers or whatever. But then you like hop on like, like you see the people on BGG or whatnot, or the Facebook page and whatnot, and they're always talking about like, oh, I'm trying to find a group, and I'm like, honestly, yeah, I can't imagine there are a lot of people out there that are just like, oh yeah, I've got a consistent group of friends that are willing to play games like 3 to 4 times a week.
That's true. And I've also heard people saying over the past month, like, hey, the winter season, holiday season, start of the new year, 6th season has destroyed my game group.
Oh yeah, I saw somebody posted that in the San Antonio one.
Yeah, schedule changes, people just getting sick and
yeah,
moving or whatever.
New year,
Yeah.
new stuff, new schedules.
There's New Year's resolutions. Everyone's like, I'm not gonna game today. I'm going to the gym. See you in February.
Keep that up for
That's
three weeks.
That's stupid.
See you in February, bud. Okay. All right. Well, that was my /hour highlights. We're gonna move on to the topics. I brought one for us that was actually, I moved it over here from the dinner table down there, one of Dwayne's. What is your favorite game board? Caveat. Try and think of 3 and put 1 at the top.
Oh shit!
I'm
I already
giving you-
know.
I'm
what
giving
my
you some
number one-
options.
I know what my number one is.
I've given you some options because I know we've got recency biases. I know we've got our old favorites. I don't know. We can probably think of one more that's like, you know what? That's neat.
What is the
Definition of game board.
extent? Like, would you count Arc Nova? Would you count that? As
I
a
would
game
count
board?
it, but I would be upset with you because it was very boring looking.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
a
that's
central
got the board.
area,
But like
that is-
Dominion doesn't have a game board.
that stupid game.
Yeah.
Box of cards.
I'm just saying, like,
Perfectly good.
Play
game.
Magic.
It's like the OG deck builder. Taught all other deck builders how to build
it
decks.
is the deck builder. Anyway,
Dumb.
Respect your elders.
but yeah, like
More
in
like,
that
more like
sense.
dumb Indian.
So it doesn't have to be a board that you play on.
No, you don't have to
What are
centrally
you
do
getting at?
everything on the board.
I just want to
Blood
know.
on the
I just
clock
want to know the
tower.
extent. I just
Go
want to
to
know
As
how.
long as there's like
You don't get to count the Grim in
no, as long as there's like
Blood on the clock
a
tower.
platform that things happen on.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Do you have any?
I know my number one.
Okay. We'll say our favorites first.
I don't.
Okay.
Oh my god. I don't.
Old school favorite, The Dark Side of Brass Birmingham.
Gross.
I love
That's
it.
disgusting.
It's so
You know,
dark.
it's funny. If we had played with
gritty
that
and
our very
elegant.
first time we played brass, Dwayne may have never talked to you again.
He's like, you're just playing on a pitch black board.
He would have been like, "You like this? I'm not gonna like."
Do
this
we
guy."
imagine our moves or
Yeah.
what?
Just pure black. Oh my god, that's disgusting.
You're actually supposed to memorize where the locations are when you play the cards. So
You don't know where Birmingham is?
yeah,
You
it's
can't find
quite,
Birmingham?
Quite obviously in the southern hemisphere of the board.
Yeah. I will never. I will never forget. I will never forget. That was the biggest "don't judge a book by its cover" moment for me.
I'm glad that you ended up liking it at least. That the theme didn't steal the game. And you know what? Things like that are why it's the #1 game in the world, baby. Okay.
I'll give it its props. It is good.
Yeah. Damn. See, the problem is I don't really think of games that way. Like, obviously, like I have an experience. Like, if I play a game and I see it, I'm like, oh, cool, this is a good board or a bad board, right? Like, I'll take a bad board for example. Arborea.
Yeah.
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 Absolute vomit. Just difficult to understand, difficult to see. It's one of those things that if the board was maybe 6 times bigger, it'd probably be beautiful and cool. But the problem is it's already big. There's already a lot going on. It's very congested.
I got the word for it. As is, it's discombobulating to look at that board.
Discombobulating. Yeah, 100%. And then there's like board games where I'm like River of Gold.
Ooh,
Beautiful game.
Elegant board.
Right? Elegant, just really good. But I don't feel confident enough to be like, oh yeah, River of Gold's my favorite.
Yeah. There's
Right?
nothing like necessarily striking about it. It's just
No.
in general like an A+.
Yeah, so I have a really hard
An
time.
A.
So I think I'm going to be able to do is like throw out like some like contenders, right? Some like, hey, these are ones that I think that come to mind as really well put together. So I'd throw, River of Gold out there as a visually appealing one that I think flows really well, makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want me to stop there, if you want to keep going,
Um
because I've got one other one that I can say off the rip.
so is River of Gold basically your like number one contender?
No. It's just
Then
I
give us
know
your second one.
It's just like honestly, again. So I'm gonna give a lot of credit because it's a very well done board game or board is it's SETI, right?
Yeah.
The fact that like for a couple different reasons. One, everything makes sense spatially, right? Like where everything is
Space.
like where all the tiles fit, like where the alien boards come in. There's like logical space for the stuff that's off the board to sit. Everything just kind of makes sense. And then, of course, there's the mechanical feature of the game.
Yeah, the interactive piece.
The interactive piece. But what goes beyond that, though, is that for the most part, I mean, there was one time I think we were playing where like there was like the table didn't sit quite right.
That's the only thing is if the table is not level, you've got the bend, like it folds.
Yeah.
And now like
It messes
those
with the
tiles
spin,
are gonna
yeah.
like
They're just
fall down and
if you've got a really bad table, could be a consideration, right? Even a table like this is going to be fine. This is not going to be an issue. It's just going to if there's a little bit, but there are ways to address that, right? Like I saw you do the other day. You put the other aliens underneath it, right? So there are ways to mitigate it. But what kind of like it was a double-sided thing because like at one side, like yes, that's very annoying, but it's also despite the fact that it's layered, and I'll compare it to like Fromage because Fromage is similar, Lazy Susan style thing.
Fromage is my runner-up, by the way.
Again, beautiful board, beautiful idea, but their spacer just doesn't work quite so right. So it's kind of annoying. So I'll give SETI actually a little bit of credit where even though it does have the potential for those problems, you don't actually face those problems. So yeah, I'll throw a kudos to SETI for all around construction. I think it's a good one.
what a fucking game, dude. Oh my
It's a
god.
great game. It is a great game. If you follow the Instagram, mine specifically, you will know that I have been playing that game a lot lately. And actually,
Has it cracked yet?
what?
Top spot?
It might be up there. I have to revisit my list, which, by the way, we will at some point have a top something overall come out. Maybe 100. We'll see what these guys want to do. Kevandrius first needs to bring out his ledger and his calculator and make sure that all of his rankings,
They need
fall
to
in
have
line.
logic. They need to be. I need to be able to tell you
it's
why
vibes.
a game is 56 versus 57. I need
What's
to be
your
able
what's
to
your
explain
100?
that.
What's your 100?
I don't know. I haven't even a foggy clue. SETI.
That's you know what? It's on there. On the board. Okay? We count it.
It was literally one of my top games for 2024. Top plays new to me.
Just right back
New to
down.
spec.
90
No.
spaces down.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, it's 2025 now.
It is 2025 now.
Yeah.
Like I said, Fromage is my runner-up board. I just really like it. It's very colorful. I like the design of it. I like that you pop your little cheese in there. I like popping cheese.
Pop a little cheese.
Pop
Pop
that
your little cheese.
Pop your little cheese in there.
Pop that
Um,
cheese.
But yeah, Fromage is my runner-up. What you got? You got one?
Just start with my number one.
Did you not say it?
No,
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Whoops.
my number one is Rising Sun.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
pretty board. It is a pretty board.
You know what?
man.
You
Because
changed
That's that. I mean, I never said a number one, but we just played it the other day, so I'll let him vibe on it because he's right.
because
vibe all over it.
It could have been so much simpler. It could have just been a whiteboard with like some design maybe
default
on it
default
with,
region tracings.
with the areas. But no, it has the areas like front and center so you can see them. They are like colored in.
Well, it's also like nice. It's not pastel colors, is it? Pastel's like muted.
No, they're definitely not pastels, but they're
But
also
the colors they pop.
they're
very
different
nice.
enough. Yeah,
And then you've got
good variation.
that like almost tapestry work
Yeah.
across the backside the background of it.
Mm-hmm.
Tapestry.
The score track that's what I love, games boards with the score track on it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah.
I would prefer those over anything else. But just to continue, it's got everything on the board. It's got the map, obviously, the score track, the spirits. What are they called?
Kami.
Commies.
Yeah.
The tiles where you're where you place them down.
Mandy
the round tracker,
tiles.
pretty much.
There's spots for your, well, it's not really spots for your tea ceremony stuff, but like even the turn order sequence is all laid out for you. Like
the
there's-
honor track.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. It looks just as good, if not better, on the playmat
Yeah.
than it does the regular board. Which playmats are cool, but to me personally, I feel like playmats kind of dull out the
Yeah.
board.
Just
a
like the
little bit.
ink transfer to whatever that.
Like
material
they
is.
don't
Never
look
be
as
as
vibrant or yeah. But Rising Sun does not do that. It looks just as good, again, if not better.
Yeah. So shout out to whichever factory printed those playmats and
Yeah.
those workers. They worked hard. I'm sure.
Honestly, like I've contemplated getting rid of most of my mats, my play mats, because storing them is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I literally had to get 3x5 cards and write playmat on them to put them into the board game. So that way when I open it, I'm like, oh, I have a playmat for this. Because they're out of
Somewhere
sight,
in the
out of
pile.
mind. And yeah, that's the other problem. I'm like, wait, what does this even look like? But and more often, yes, they are nice. It is certainly fun and nice to have them for the most part. But again, they're just usually it's just not that big of a deal. And if I'm leaving the house,
It's
very
just
rare
even
I'm-
worse if they don't fit in the box.
Yeah. But Rising Sun over my dead body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting rid of that one.
So
So nice.
the playmat thing, right? I just ordered Galactic Cruise.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered it
Welcome
from.
to the club.
Yes,
Oh, did you use your promo?
I did.
Sly.
It only counted for the base game, which totally fine. Still appreciate it. 1, 2, they had the option to add on the expansions.
Yeah.
You couldn't do the promo wouldn't work if you just tried to bundle them. I assume because there's already like a built-in discount.
Sure.
So I did the base game and then separately added the expansions and the deluxe components. And then I was like, do I want the playmat? I thought about it. I was like, I don't have a place for my playmats to go. They kind of just sit next to the shelf. And to be honest, other than the ability to easily pick up cards off of them, they don't really add function to the game, right? Like the board will be fine.
For most games too. So like I have a board game board game tables, or now All Play, one of the original Duchess tables, and I have a table topper mat for it. So you've played on it, right? It covers the table perfectly, 3x6 or whatever it is. That's all I need, right?
Yeah.
Because if a game has cards or something on the board itself,
You just slide them off.
you just slide them off or whatever, but you still, everything else, you've got that mat and you've got that space. And most games don't ask you to put your cards on that, right? They're usually in a player area.
Yeah.
So you've got that. And it's a generic blue. It's whatever. It's perfect for most games.
It's perfect for Twilight. Whoop, whoop. Woo, we played it on there. I love that game.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I think really good point. But I think you get after something else too that's really cool about board game or boards. That's like it's sad because I'm trying to think of them, and the problem is I don't think about these things until I see them in front of me, and I'm like, yeah, this is good. But board games that tell you all the information about the game on the board.
Oh, like they have like a phase breakdown or like a round breakdown.
Yep,
turn breakdown,
something
whatever.
like that, or even like the actions that you take are all printed on the board because like you go to this area and this is the thing you do here.
Yeah.
Like
My runner-up does that. Apiary.
yeah,
Same thing.
Right.
Does that.
it's literally
And it
right there.
Still looks cool.
Yep,
Got that space vibe.
I almost
not a beautiful board, but very
almost think
functional.
Yeah.
I would like it less without the text, because for some reason the text makes it feel like you're looking at a computer in space, and like it's like this is your description of the thing you're doing, where otherwise you're just like I don't know.
Well, it's interesting though because I've seen some games that do. What do? They do like a more subdued side with like less information on it. So they'll do like the regular board, and then you can like flip it over.
For a more thematic board.
Vindication has it.
Isn't it Rococo? Isn't there a backside of Rococo that's like more subdued?
There is no. It's just player count.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I must be thinking of something else.
I
There's
feel like
another
I
game
know.
that
I
has
feel like
a-
I know what you're talking about.
I
Yeah.
feel like I know what you're talking about too.
And we looked at it and we're like, man.
I thought we decided it was
stupid.
just the art.
No, you're thinking of the Lacerda playmats, where it's the board, but it's just like it's art of the board.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that's
what
right.
that is what I'm
yeah,
thinking about.
yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Dogs under us. There's dogs everywhere up here.
Yeah, there are.
Not counting us three, right?
And then I was thinking,
Stupid joke.
one that I like, but I don't think it's like up there is Beyond the Sun. Because of the computer feel. It
Okay,
looks like a
you
computer.
lost me there, buddy.
Come on.
You
More
lost
late.
me there, buddy.
Dude, it is like
I
bottom, that is
like the
bottom
game.
3.
I
board
like the game
boards.
a lot.
Yeah, but it looks like you are at a
you just-
computer.
It just looks like you're programming something.
It looks. Hear me out. You walk by the
hear me
table.
out, cake.
You walk by the table, and you're like, "Damn, that shit looks smart."
No, it looks boring as hell.
Oh,
dude.
dude.
That's my. That's like a.
You know when you walk by someone playing 18X games and it's
Yeah.
just a grid and they have like bland brown X tokens and they're just like,
Come on.
So Splotter games. Did
Yeah.
you sniff?
no.
I was like, did you? Splotter games, right?
my finger.
They horseless carriage, right?
Yeah.
So apparently it's pretty well received. Like it's got like a 7.9 on BGG or something like that. And it retails for like $140 or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
expensive.
Right? Expensive, right? On Game Nerds, right now, it's on sale. I think it's probably still on sale.
Shout out Game Nerds. Sponsor us, please.
You know how much it cost?
$80.
$40.
$40.
$40.
Sheesh.
Yeah. What it was the featured game on Board Game Co.'s Cult of the Now. And because like they show you how many they've got in stock, and they have like something like 1,700 items in stock, units in stock. So what they think they did is they like bought accidentally or on purpose or bought like this massive amount thinking it'd sell really well, and
Didn't sell as much.
So they're trying to unload a lot of this inventory. Or
I feel
something
like
happened. So they're
Spotter
selling
has
for
a
$40.
niche audience.
But with the success of Food Main Chagget,
What else has happened?
I'm just glad none of those words came out as like grossly fucking anything terrible. Food chain magnet. I think people
Mood feign check.
move. I'm guessing because of the success of that game, the success of their campaign, the fact that it was well received, that they thought they would sell more, that maybe they'd have like a big run on it. So I was like $40. I'm like, I gotta take a look at it. And I literally looked at the pictures of it. And I'm like, this looks terrible.
They make really ugly games.
Oh God, it's so ugly. And you know what? I'm sure it's a great game. I'm sure it's phenomenal. But like, God bless America, man. Just hire somebody to do some just art. Anything.
Oh man,
It is so bad.
it really feels like what they do is they go into like historical archives and they look for old historical images that are no longer subject to copyright, and they're like,
No,
cool,
dude,
we're
they
using
don't even
those.
do it. This even have
We're using
that.
that. We're using those
I'm gonna pull
pictures
up
from
some-
1875.
Dude, it's from pre-1875 because they didn't have photos. Horse. I know how to spell.
So
horse.
I just read a book. It's called Babel. I just finished it. The photos back then were, or not back then, in this historical fiction,
Dude.
they call photos daguerreotypes.
Yeah, look at that. Look how terrible that is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's just gray squares with outlines of player colors, I assume, and
Yeah.
like an assortment of the same shape of different color blocks.
it's like what you would. This is what I would expect out of a prototype.
That looks like a prototype
Yeah.
of. It looks like a prototype of the game Go.
I don't agree with that necessarily, but
They were like,
it's
we have a grid, and we place down stones. Your turn.
it's rough. But I can't believe
I'll put a
on the
picture up.
sun you put that on there. That's wild.
We're voice acting, by the way. Check out our voices profiles. Voices.com/ and / I don't remember mine
Oh,
either.
slashy.
I don't remember mine either. But if you're looking for voice work done by someone who has never done a single second of voice work in their life, I'm your guy.
Hey, they'll be cheap.
They will be cheap. Not free, but cheap.
What would you do? What would you do like an hour-long voiceover for? If I paid you in a bag of fiery
Just play
Cheetos.
SETI with me.
A bag of fireworks.
Fire,
Just black hats.
Cheetos, fiery hot Cheetos. you
I
do
would
it?
read a rule book for you out loud.
Yeah, for a bag of Cheetos.
Flamin' Hots?
Yeah.
Family size?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd do it. So that way you can audiobook yourself a rule book. Like on your way to work.
Yeah.
Instead of reading it, you just listen.
Interesting.
It's a way to
And
internalize.
then you can describe the pictures, the examples.
Audio only rule book reading.
Audio only rulebook reading. I mean,
Do you think that you could?
learn enough from it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You would have to have some kind of descriptor. Now, you would really have to have like.
I gotta read
You'd
it.
have to be like, in the top left corner, there is a gold circle with
Okay.
a number inside of it. This
Okay.
is the cost of the card in coins.
And then you, bro.
So you
starting at the
pay me a bag of chips, and I read the main script of the book.
mm-hmm.
You pay him something, and he reads the notes, the
Photos?
squared out note
Oh, yeah,
sections.
okay.
You do the visual descriptions
Yeah.
of the examples that are played, and read those out.
starting at the beginning, bro.
Hey, how,
Components. 1.
What's
game
the
board.
first word in a rule book most of the time?
index?
the
No, table of contents.
table?
Table, overview.
The
Page. You
I guess,
open it
yeah,
up.
Table is one word.
Not on the front, obviously, but you flip that first page. First word.
Overview.
Overview is a good one.
Are we including the table of contents? Because I mean, table would be out.
You think that's the first one?
probably
Not all rule books have it.
You're right. But if I had to guess,
I think
that's a
bigger
safe
games
guess.
have them
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that's just a safe bet too.
To say table of contents.
Table, just table.
Table.
I'm going overview.
That's fair too. I don't, you know.
I would say, honestly, it's probably 50-50.
But if a game does an overview, they may just dive into the overview, like the narrative. Because that's what the thing you start seeing nowadays. You start seeing like, in a world
Yeah.
torn by fire
Mhm.
and ice and
Oh.
other elements.
KY jelly.
Now, how many bags of fiery hot Cheetos would I need for you to read it in a sexy voice?
First of all, I'm going to correct you now since it's the second time you messed it up. They're called Flaming Hot.
Flamin' Hot.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Whatever,
I
man.
was gonna make it just sound like a dad over there.
You want some? Hey, you want some fiery,
fiery hot
hots?
Cheetos?
You want them fiery hot lemon chips?
I know how much you kids like them.
Those are great Cheetos, aren't they?
Takeies.
I know that's the brand, but no one calls them Cheetos. Yeah, can I have some takeys?
Who does
Yeah, I don't know about
Can I have some
that
take
one.
ones?
Everyone calls them Cheetos. What else would you call them?
Flamin' Hots.
No.
What if you just get regular Cheetos?
You call them Cheetos?
Yeah.
If you get the cheese ones, yeah.
I'll say Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You do not say, "Can I have some Flaming Hot Cheetos, please?"
Cheetos, good shot.
And
Flaming
the-
hot.
the-
Or no.
Whoever you ask, they
You
go,
say
"You're
hot Cheetos.
Such a proper
Hot
young
Cheetos,
lad.
Say Hot Cheetos.
But the problem is nowadays you
Okay.
there's like multiple varieties. You got
And
like
they-
the buffalo
dude,
one.
Dude,
you've
they
got the
all fucking
jalapeno.
suck. Not the jalapeno cheddar ones.
I was about to say those are the best ones.
They all suck. Not those. Though.
The
Except for
only
these ones,
the only
these ones,
three that
these
are
ones.
the only three that are valid are the
you.
original, hot, and jalapeno cheddar.
You don't like the
Puffs?
triple X ones?
Puffs.
Well, I mean, like flavor.
Yeah,
It's-
but that's not the original. That like crunchy puffs. Those are totally different things.
I honestly,
Yeah,
I
if
like
I'm
putting
eating
lump
puffs
them
in
in
my
there.
mouth.
regular
like,
Cheetos, yeah, letting them dehydrate in your mouth. Good
melt.
old
well,
American
they're
food.
hydrating.
yeah, they're
the
rehydrating.
f-
They're literally
What were we talking about?
board game
I
boards.
cannot hear that without seeing Chicken Little in my head. What are we talking about? Okay, so our favorite board game board consensus is Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Next topic.
What? Oh, bro, flesh out your game idea. Like,
What?
just idea. Like, what was your? You know?
What? The snake one?
Well, I guess you already did.
I don't want people to steal my ideas.
Yeah,
okay?
dude, you gotta. No, we gotta playtest that first. Take it to
Playtest,
Kickstarter.
copyright.
Kickstarter 2020.
I'm going to copyright every single word individually in the rule book. The overview, table of.
How many
All
bags of hot Cheetos for you to read, Hegemony?
Am I reading it for a voiceover or am I teaching you the game?
You're teaching me.
10 bags. If I'm just reading over it once,
Where is it?
I'll do the one. It's over here. Hegemony, which we don't currently have, but we'll leave that for another day, for another podcast. If you like this podcast and you want to listen to our misogyny podcast, go ahead and follow our. I'm just kidding. We are going to move on now to my next topic, which is, do you guys think it's fair, or do you give? Actually, I can answer this for you, no. But what do you think about giving new players a handicap in a game?
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so and I'll say that because I was reading through the subreddit, reddit.com/r/boardgames, I think, whatever. Someone posted on there, like, "Hey, I'm introducing this person to this game. I can't think of a handicap myself. So what do you guys normally do?" I forgot what the game was, but everyone's like,
You do
"Do
what?
people normally do handicaps for games?"
You know,
And
Dude,
he's
if-
like, "I always give a player who has not played the game with any amount of players who have played the game. I make up a handicap for them."
If y'all busted out Windmill Valley and y'all were like, "Hey, we're gonna give you a free tulip on the board," I would have been like, "What the fuck?"
Or like, yeah.
you
Yeah.
already get one for turn order, so
Well, like, how is that? Like, okay, so what crosses the line, right? Twilight Imperium
Anything.
is a point too much
way too much.
Yes.
for a brand new player
Absolutely.
against
No, so here's the thing, though.
5 people who have played 3 times.
Because
here's
sorry.
Go for it. No,
Sorry.
I
go
love
for
this.
it.
This
No,
sparked
do
a
it.
conversation.
Every time we've played Twilight Imperium, we've played with someone new, and they didn't do bad. They were, of course, they were probably like last place, but they weren't ever like, there wasn't like a,
Didn't we grind Jewel into bone?
no,
marrow?
she was still like up
No,
with
she-
us.
no,
She
right.
was,
She
well, she
fought-
was
she
getting
was fighting
points.
off
She was
of-
still getting those points because a lot of them
She was
were
fighting
not
off
dependent
Aaron.
on like
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I just remember she didn't have a great go of it.
if they were combat based, she would not have had a good time.
That's fair.
But yes, the point is
That's way too much.
That's crazy.
Point is too
I
much
could
in
maybe
Twilight.
like if
Okay,
I was like Twilight, I could be like, hey, here's an extra destroyer.
okay, a game like SETI where you're getting 200-ish points. Is 10 points too much? If
I
we're just
mean,
doing points.
Fourth player already gets 4 points, 3 points more.
I think points is too much already.
Okay, so like one extra resource? One of each extra resource?
Maybe like an
That's a
extra
lot.
card.
Yeah.
An extra
A
card draw?
More options, more choices, maybe.
Yeah, because you have another sector option, another card option,
So-
another free action.
I think the problem for us, the reason why this is so like, bleh, is because for us, if we're talking about the people that we play with, everybody has played games before, and everybody is adept enough to be able to be like, hey, I know you've never played this game, and we've played it 6 times. Sure, you may not win, but like you will do just fine. We will teach you the game. You know games well enough. You understand mechanics. This will click quick enough.
And I
Right?
guess
So we don't have that problem. Now, if I was sitting down, and again, this is a personal thing, if I was playing with players who don't normally play games, I'm not going to play a game where I feel the need to give them a handicap. Right? Like we've talked about this before. Like, what are the top 5 games I pull out on a first date or something like that?
yeah, it's not
right?
gonna be Rising Sun against
Exactly, right?
1v1 versus someone who has never played the game before.
It's Splendor, game with perfectly open information where it's like, hey, I can explain to you the entire game. There's no hidden information except for your strategy, and we can talk about a couple different strategies, and you can choose which one you want to pursue. Now, I think we've also, I don't know if did we talk about this? Do you ever pull up? Do you ever like go easy on players when they're new? And again, that's the only space that's true for me is like if I
Why do you think y'all always win when y'all play with me?
that's changed lately. He's a 2 for 2.
I know you just won Vindication.
And you won SETI last night. So by
Yeah.
6, 7 points, it was enough. But like that's about the only thing is like if I'm talking and communicating different hey, there's 3 or 4 different strategies, and I explain that to a player, and then they're pursuing one of those strategies, the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna block you.
Yeah, you're not gonna like hate
You know?
draft, not gonna intentionally like cut someone off from
Yeah.
what they're obviously doing.
Yeah, because I told you to do that, right? The only time I'm going to do that is if I'm like, I can't not do this. Like, this is just, I can't not.
Like imagine playing with someone new in brass and they're like, hey, I want to sell my stuff. You know what they're obviously gonna do, right? They build a beer thing. You're like, oh yeah, you just build a beer right here. If you have this card, you'll be fine. They build it and you're like,
I'll drink your
"All right,
beer.
my next turn I'm selling.
Thanks,
I'm
bro.
gonna use your beer, thank you. like-
Exactly.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Like, hey man, you
They're
know,
just
really,
like-
it's like, hey, you know, it's a really great strategy if you build a lot of coal for
Yeah.
people to use.
Honestly, yeah.
Whatever. You just be the coal baron.
Yeah, just use
Yeah.
your location tiles, build coal everywhere, and let everyone else connect. You're fine.
It's a really great way to build stuff. Yeah. Okay.
I got my best score ever in brass.
Yeah?
By the way, I did the pottery strat,
Yeah.
and I was able to get the first one
Yeah.
and the third one for a total of 21 points on
Nice.
just those 2 tiles
That's
out in the
awesome.
first era.
Wow.
And then I was able to get the last one out. So I had 33 or 31 points from, or no,
You got
It was-
the 30 points from the first 2.
20
Twice.
from the first 2.
20 twice. So that's 40 points.
And then the 30 on the next one. Yeah.
That's wild. That's
So,
wild.
Plus everything else I did in there,
That's cool.
That was it was pretty crazy. Got a bunch of link points. That's besides the point. So I think we're all in agreement that no, if you're new and you decide to play with us, you're gonna eat it probably. And if you win, it's worth even more because
Yeah.
you know we were trying to grind you into the dirt.
If you're new, Dwayne won't help you. I will.
I also think
I barely know what I'm doing.
well that's kind of my thing, right? It's like it's not like I win a high percentage of games anyway. Like I just kind of do whatever. But I also feel like for us, our group, we have an understanding that like on any given day, someone is bringing a new game to teach.
Mm.
Like a couple of us, maybe more, are going to just be figuring it out. And one person might have a couple plays in their pocket. But at the end of the day, it's whatever. Like I don't think any of us, like we're all trying to win. We're all trying to play and be competitive in the game. But none of us are like, I need to win this game right now. Like none of us have a crazy competitive thing like that where it's going to ruin our day if we don't win the game, on the first try or whatever. At least not me. I can't speak for someone.
We know Dwayne's all right with it. If he had problem, if he needed to win, he would have.
You'd have quit gaming a long time ago.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been in this hobby.
yeah.
I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Dwayne Yell. Nah, not a good joke.
He puts the L in Dwayne.
Sure. We'll do that one.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Or. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Board and Scale podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. We have been me, Dwayne, and Kevandrius. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the channel. Send me a check for $400. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
What's your favorite bird?
What's your favorite bird? Bye.